I never thought a single photo could change everything. It was just a sunny afternoon at the beach, my hair still wet from the ocean, and I snapped a quick pic in my favorite bikini. I posted it without thinking much, just a cute beach photo, nothing more. Or at least, that's what I told myself, and him. But apparently, he didn't see it that way. Jake and I weren't official, but we were definitely more than friends. We texted every day, stayed up late on calls, and shared things we didn't tell anyone else. There was always something unspoken between us, something real. So when I uploaded that picture and saw his name pop up in the likes, I smiled, thinking nothing of it. But the next message I got from him wasn't what I expected. He sent a screenshot of the post, followed by, "Just a cute pic, huh?" My heart dropped. I didn't know what to say. Was he upset? Jealous? Hurt? I tried to laugh it off, telling him he was overthinking it. But then he replied, "You know exactly what you're doing. Don't play me." And just like that, he blocked me. I sat there staring at my screen, shocked. Was I wrong? Was the picture too much? Or was he being too controlling? My mind kept spinning. I never meant to make him feel disrespected. But at the same time, I couldn't help but wonder, if one post could end everything, was it ever that solid to begin with? My friends had mixed opinions. Some said he had no right to police what I post. Others thought maybe I should have warned him first, out of respect. But none of that helped me understand why it hurt so much. Why his silence after meant more than I wanted to admit. Now, I can't stop replaying that moment in my head. The moment I realized a part of him wasn't just disappointed, he was done. Maybe it wasn't just about a picture. Maybe it was about trust, or expectations we never really talked about. All I know is, I didn't expect him to walk away so fast. And just when I thought that was the end of our story, something happened that changed everything. The day after Jake blocked me, I kept checking my phone like he might change his mind. Refreshing his profile, hoping maybe it was just a heat of the moment thing. But nope, still blocked. No texts, no explanations, no chance to talk things out. It felt like a door slammed shut without warning. I kept telling myself it was just a beach pic, nothing more. But clearly, to him, it meant something deeper. Something I didn't fully understand. We'd known each other for almost a year. We met through mutual friends at a rooftop party, and there was this instant connection, like we got each other without even trying. He was quiet, thoughtful, the type who'd rather send a meaningful voice note than a bunch of emojis. And even though he never officially said he wanted something serious, his actions always spoke louder. He'd remember little things I said weeks ago. He'd check in when I was sick, bring me coffee when I had deadlines. So yeah, maybe part of me assumed we were on the same page. But now, I wasn't so sure. I started going through old messages, looking for signs I missed. Maybe there were moments where he hinted at feeling insecure or unsure, and I brushed them off. Or maybe he never fully trusted me, and that photo was just the final push. Either way, I was left with more questions than answers. And worst of all, I didn't know if I even had the right to be this hurt, since we were never official. But feelings don't care about labels. And his silence was speaking volumes. My best friend, Maya, wasn't shy about her opinion. If he can't handle a bikini pic, what happens when you travel or do a brand deal or literally just live your life, she said. And she wasn't wrong. But at the same time, I knew Jake. This wasn't just about jealousy. He was never the possessive type, at least not openly. Which made his reaction feel even more confusing. Almost like the post unlocked something he'd been holding back. Then came the part that messed with my head even more. A few days later, one of our mutual friends told me Jake had deleted his socials completely. Not just me, everyone. Like he'd vanished. That's when I started wondering, was this really just about the photo, or was something else going on with him? Something he never told me? The more I thought about it, the more I realized how little I really knew about what Jake was going through. Sure, We talked about a lot of things, his job stress, his crazy schedule, even his family drama, but some parts of him always felt locked up. He was careful with his words, always trying to seem calm and in control. So when he vanished from social media, it felt bigger than a reaction to my beach post. It felt like something had cracked. I tried to move on, I really did. I even muted our chat so I wouldn't keep rereading our last messages. But there was this constant itch in my chest, like something was unfinished. I didn't just miss him, I missed the us we almost were. That version of us where everything still felt easy. Now, even the silence was heavy. Then, out of nowhere, I got a DM from a girl I'd never met. Her name was Leah, and she said she used to date Jake, while he was still talking to me. My heart dropped. She was polite but direct, saying she felt like I deserved to know. Apparently, they'd been off and on for a while, and she saw my photo pop up on his feed before he blocked everyone. That's when she put the pieces together. She told me Jake had a history of ghosting women whenever things got too real. I didn't want to believe it. Jake never talked about exes, and now I was starting to understand why. He never let people get too close. He built walls and only showed the parts he wanted you to see. But the weirdest part? Leah said he once disappeared for months without a word, just like now. And when he came back, it was like nothing happened. I started wondering if the photo wasn't what broke him, maybe it was just his excuse to run. At the same time, I found myself second-guessing everything. Was I too naive? Was I one of many? My friends kept telling me to let it go, that I dodged a bullet. But it didn't feel that simple. Because no matter how much he hurt me, I still cared. And deep down, I had this strange feeling that his silence wasn't just about avoiding me. Something didn't add up. And what I found next only made things more complicated. A week after Leah's message, I still couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing, something Jake never said, something I hadn't seen. I kept going over everything in my head, every message, every call, every subtle shift in his mood before things blew up. The more I thought about it, the clearer it became. Jake didn't just block me, he was hiding. One night, while scrolling through an old group chat we were both in, I noticed something weird. He had left the chat weeks ago, but not before deleting several messages. It was subtle, barely noticeable unless you were looking. But I was looking now. I clicked on one of the old links he had shared, an obscure Instagram account I never paid attention to. It was private, but the bio caught my eye, a single date, nothing else. That date? It was the exact day we met at that rooftop party. My heart started racing. Why would he link to a random private account with that date? I sent the handle to Maya, who's basically a social media detective, and within an hour, she found out the account was linked to a creative project Jake had once mentioned, something personal he never let anyone see. But that wasn't the craziest part. The last post was from 3 days ago. Meaning, Jake wasn't off the grid. He was just somewhere I couldn't reach. At this point, the confusion was turning into frustration. Why go through all this trouble to vanish? Why not just tell me he needed space? And why keep posting in secret? Unless he wasn't alone. That thought hit me like a punch to the stomach. Was there someone else? Was Leah just the beginning of a bigger story I was never meant to uncover? Then another strange thing happened. An anonymous account viewed all my stories, every single one, within seconds of me posting. It started the day Jake blocked me. The username was random, no profile picture, no followers. But something about it felt off. Familiar. Like someone watching from behind a screen, making sure I wasn't moving on too easily. The tension was eating me alive. Every new clue just pulled me deeper. And the closer I got to the truth, the more I realized I never really knew Jake at all. I thought I was the one being left behind, but now I wasn't sure who was chasing who. And then, one night, I got a message. Not from Jake. But about him. The message came in just past midnight. No profile picture, no name, just a single sentence. You don't know what you walked into. At first, I thought it was spam. But then a second message followed. Jake isn't who you think he is. Be careful. My chest tightened. I sat up in bed, heart pounding, rereading the messages over and over. Who would send that? And why now? I replied, asking who they were, but there was no response. Just the "seen" checkmark, then silence. I barely slept that night. Everything started feeling like a game I never agreed to play. The cute beach pic, the blocking, the vanishing act, Leah's story, the anonymous story views, and now this. It was like someone had taken the pieces of my relationship and scattered them into something darker, more twisted than I'd imagined. This wasn't just a breakup anymore. It felt like I had stepped into something layered, something with secrets buried deep. The next morning, I went to Maya's apartment. I needed someone to say I was overthinking, that it was all in my head. But when I showed her the messages, even she looked rattled. Okay, that's actually creepy, she said, pulling her laptop out immediately. We're going full investigation mode. Hours passed as we combed through everything, Jake's old profiles, his tagged photos, random usernames, deleted posts, even old comments people left that didn't make sense at the time. That's when we stumbled on something that stopped both of us cold. There was a thread on a private Reddit-like forum, talking about someone who matched Jake's exact description, same job, same city, even the same dog. But the thread wasn't just gossip. It was warning people. Saying he had a pattern of getting close to women, disappearing, and then reappearing in completely different social circles with a new name, new story. It sounded insane. But the similarities were impossible to ignore. That's when it hit me, maybe the guy I thought I knew was never really Jake to begin with. The second twist wasn't just that Jake ghosted me. It was that I might not even know who he truly is. Not his real story, not his past, not even his real name. Every piece of trust one had in him was unraveling fast. And yet, part of me still cared. Still wanted answers. Still hoped there was some version of the truth that didn't make me feel like a complete fool. Just when we thought we couldn't find anything more, Maya gasped. Oh my God. Look at this. She turned her screen to me. There, buried in the comments of the thread, was a photo. It was Jake. But not the Jake I knew. He was standing next to a woman I'd never seen before, arm around her shoulders. The caption read, "Anyone know what happened to her?" I stared at the screen, frozen. What if I wasn't the first girl he ghosted? What if I was just the next one in a story that wasn't over yet? My fingers hovered over the screen as I stared at that photo, Jake smiling like nothing was wrong, standing beside a girl whose eyes felt way too familiar. I didn't recognize her, but something about the way she looked at the camera, like she was trying to say something without saying it, sent chills down my spine. The comment thread under the post was full of theories. Some said she moved away suddenly. Some claimed she just stopped showing up to her usual spots. One person even wrote, she blocked everyone overnight. Just like he did. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I had to know the truth. With Maya's help, we tracked down the username of the original poster and messaged them. Surprisingly, they replied within the hour. They said they used to work with Jake at a startup 2 years ago. They'd seen him get close to that same girl, same routine, same charm, then suddenly, gone. No goodbye. She changed her number, deleted her socials, and disappeared. She was obsessed with figuring him out, the person wrote. But in the end, she gave up. Said he made her question her reality. That's when I realized, I was repeating her story. Fueled by a mix of fear and determination, I called Jake's old number one last time, expecting the usual voicemail. But this time, someone answered. It was Jake. There was a pause, then he said, "You weren't supposed to find all of that." His voice was calm, like he'd rehearsed this moment. He admitted he saw my photo and panicked, not because of the picture itself, but because it reminded him how close we were getting. When people see the real me, they always leave, he said. So I leave first. I told him that was no excuse. That ghosting people, blocking them, and hiding behind fake accounts wasn't protecting anyone, it was just running. He didn't argue. He just said, I never lied about how I felt. But I never planned to stay, either. And then he hung up. It felt like closure. Broken, messy closure, but closure. A few days later, I got another DM, from that anonymous account that had watched all my stories. This time, it was a photo. Of me. Taken from behind, on the day I posted that beach pic. The caption? Cute post. My breath caught as I stared at the photo, me, alone at the beach, captured from behind, clearly taken without my knowing. The caption still haunted me, cute post. It confirmed everything I didn't want to believe. Jake, or whatever part of him was still watching, had never really disappeared. He was still lurking, hiding behind anonymous accounts, still trying to control the narrative even after he walked away. That message wasn't just creepy. It was a warning. A reminder. He hadn't let go completely. But I had to. I showed Maya the message and we both knew what to do next. I reported the account, locked down my socials, and changed every privacy setting possible. I felt exposed in a way I never had before. This wasn't just heartbreak anymore, it was about boundaries, safety, and reclaiming the pieces of myself I had slowly lost while trying to understand someone who didn't even understand himself. For days after, I felt like I was holding my breath, waiting for the next message or another strange view on my story. But nothing came. No calls. No texts. No more anonymous accounts. Just silence. And finally, I let that silence settle. I stopped checking his old profiles, stopped searching threads, stopped letting someone who never truly showed up keep living in my head. Reflecting on everything, I realized this story was never really about a bikini post or even about Jake. It was about trust, identity, and the slow unraveling of something that seemed beautiful on the surface but was always built on shaky ground. I learned that being almost something with someone doesn't mean they owe you everything, but it also doesn't mean they get to leave without consequences. I also realized that closure doesn't always come in the way you expect. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's a phone call that ends mid-sentence. And sometimes it's a final, haunting message that reminds you why you needed to let go in the first place. I wish I could say I understood Jake now, or that I found all the answers. But maybe I never will. And maybe that's okay. What matters is that I'm finally done letting someone else's confusion cloud my peace. And as strange as it sounds, I don't regret posting that beach photo. Because if I hadn't, I might still be stuck in a story where the truth was hiding behind someone else's version of love. Now, I'm writing my own.